Hey there, guys. Welcome to the 2030 challenge where I've taken charge of Aston Villa, and we are now in the Premier League, about to play our first game of the season at home against Everton. So, obviously, being promoted to the Premier League, it's been a very, very busy summer, and a lot of transfer dealings have been done. We've had a pretty pathetic transfer budget, if I'm being totally honest. We were given, I think it was, let's just check this. 7.54 mil in the Premier League in your first season. How are you supposed to improve the squad in the Premier League with 7 million? Oh, I don't know. But the financial clout, shall we say, of all the other teams in this league just seems to be absolutely ridiculous. As I'm pretty sure I'll be able to allude to in the transfers that I'm going to show you guys now. You don't know too much about the ins yet, so I'm just going to go straight ahead with the outs. I sold Rob Atkinson, the left back, to Plymouth for a fee of £5 million. Wasn't the best option we had at left back. I decided to, as a result, because I knew he wasn't brilliant, I decided to sell him to a divisional rival, potentially a relegation rival in Plymouth, just so that they could see, yeah, okay, he's not that good. And sort of, I knew then that Plymouth were in a situation where they were buying players that I didn't deem really good enough for the team. I've just noticed he's now in the Plymouth under-21, so I don't know whether they've actually gone and decided, yeah, no, he's not that good, is he? Crap. I spent 5 million on this guy. But, yeah, he was a good player in the Championship. Rotated pretty regularly with Jacob Koch, but he... I don't think, to be honest, in my judgment, he was going to make the step up to the Premier League. And to get 5 million from him, I think was a pretty good deal, all told. The next transfer was Barry Howard. I sold him to Wolves. We never really played him. He was one of those youth prospects where they get to a certain age and you have to expect them to sort of step up and try and reach the next level. And to be honest, I don't think he would have reached the level of a Premier League player. I think he's a Championship quality striker, and we don't really need Championship quality players in our team anymore. So I had to try and offload him, and for 600k, I think I did all right. Although I've just seen his value jump up to 1.9 mil, so maybe I've made a bit of a mistake there. Time will tell. The next transfer, Tran Thanloan, I want to say. Again, his value's shot up since I sold him. I'm very confused right now. But here's another player who, yeah, he's good. But I think we had better options in the team at striker. And again, he didn't really want to play for the club anymore since I wasn't playing him. And I didn't think he was good enough to play on a regular basis. So I decided to offload him. But again, now, with Reading being a divisional rival and his value now shooting up to 2.2 million, I think maybe I've made a bit of an error of judgment. But again, we'll have to see. I then released quite a few just youth players who were really bad. Like, I just couldn't renew their contracts. Jack Hardiman, another one of those players who was never going to make the grade. Looks like he'll be an okay sort of League 1, League 2, possibly Championship player, but isn't really going to benefit us keeping hold of him. So again, I decided to sell him to Mansfield, who I think are in League 1. Yes, they are. They're 6th in League 1. Luke Garbutt is the manager. The big sort of transfer news in terms of outages is Damian Martinez-Gonzalez. Now, I tried to hold off any bids for this player because he really is a very, very, very good player, Premier League sort of player. But he had a 17 mil release clause in his contract. So, yeah, I couldn't renew his contract because I don't think he really wanted to. And Sheffield United, who, you know, are challenging for Europa League, actually, finishing 7th last season. You'd think that's where they would be challenging. Yeah, they matched his release clause, so there wasn't really much I could do. And now they're now paying him 140 grand a week, which is so much more than what I paid him. I think he was on 35 grand a week or something in the Championship, and I considered that to be one of the contracts that was ruining our finances. So surely Sheffield United have got some sort of sugar daddy or something. A continental rep, rich finances. Nicky Maynard, the former Swansea manager, who managed to take Swansea to the dizzy heights of second place in the Championship, landing the Sheffield United job. Questionable decision making, one might say, but yeah, he'll be missed. He really will. He's going to be very, very difficult to replace. Really didn't want to sell him, but they matched his release clause, so what can you do? 2 youth players went out on loan. I think I'll probably end up releasing them. Harry Baines and Stuart Sayer. But now, where the fun begins, we are going to take a look at some of the ins, the new players that will be joining our team. Starting with Ryan Hamilton, a backup right back. Patrick Bangard, the last real player, I think, left at Villa. At the age of 37, decided to hang up his boots. And I didn't really have the money to replace him, to be honest. I couldn't go out and get a right back because I just had no money. So I had to look into the loan market, and I found Ryan Hamilton rotting in the reserves at Bournemouth. He's okay, not the best, to be honest, but he'll do a job when he's needed, and I definitely think he can hold his own in this division. So to get him in, not too expensive on the wages. In fact, I'm not sure if we even... Oh yeah, 9k a week that we've contributed to his wages. So yeah, he's a decent backup player, and that's the entire sort of purpose of this signing, just to add some depth at the right back position. The next guy that came in was a striker. I had plans to play Damian Martinez-Gonzalez up front this season, just because I noticed he was natural there, and I think he caused some real damage when he did get into the final third, but I was playing him in midfield too much for that to happen. Sort of a Wayne Rooney in centre mid at Man United problem. So I loaned in another striker anyway. York, what is that name actually? I've tried to pronounce it. I'm going to go with Twitty York, a German with a Welsh-looking surname. Yeah, he's on loan from Bayer Leverkusen. Don't have to pay any of his wage, although I do have to pay $100,000 a week sort of monthly fee. But in pretty key areas, he's got some fantastic stats. I'm very impressed by his work rate. Some very good physicals as well. Stamina, he could really run for days. Decent pace, although I'd like that to be higher. Finishing and off the ball, pretty good. Off the ball could be higher, as well as composure. But all in all, a pretty good player for this level. And I think he will bang in plenty of goals for us, all told. I bought in Reddick Haloub on a free. Yeah, I had him on loan at the club in the Championship last season, and I was pretty impressed by him. So I decided, because his contract was running out, that I'd take advantage of that, pick him up on a free before anyone else could, and he'll do a job for us at centre-back, maybe for a while. I'd like to get some better centre-backs in for the future, but this guy will do very nicely as a short-term solution. Another guy whose contract was coming to an end was Todd Alty. Previously at Nottingham Forest, they decided not to renew his contract, which is strange because the scout report said that Nottingham Forest would be unlikely to want to sell him. So if they're letting his contract run out, surely they would sort of prefer to sell him. And never mind. He's another centre back. Superb technical defensive stats, the big three: heading, marking, and tackling. Great positioning as well. His physicals somewhat let him down. He's not the quickest defender, and that could leave us sort of exposed as we tend to play a high line. So I might need to look at making some tactical changes to accommodate that. But, I mean, in terms of covering centre-back, that's all you could really ask for. Fantastic signing for the sort of level that we're at, I think. Francis Manga was the next signing. I'm not too sure about him now. I noticed I didn't really have a ball-winning midfielder of any real note. None of my midfielders were specifically sort of more defensive. So I had to sort of place someone in a more unfamiliar, awkward ball-winning midfielder role. So I decided to sign a ball-winning midfielder on a free. And I noticed that this guy's contract, who I'd been scouting, was coming to an end. So I just decided to take a punt on him. He's got decent marking and tackling, but they're not the best. His work rate and strength are very good, as well as his bravery. He's clearly a bit of a Mahatma Gandhi type, though, with that 5 aggression. So we may have to get him to maybe improve on that. Now, this guy was the main signing, Sebastian Gomez. The scout report actually says that he's got a fairly volatile temperament. I'm good that it's just a fairly volatile one and not the sort of temperament that leads to him chucking stuff about in the dressing room. But as you can see, he's a good player for most Premier League sides. I'd agree with that, to be honest. He's like Todd Alty in that he's got very, very good defensive technicals. But to back that up, he's got some pretty amazing physicals as well. Stamina, strength, natural fitness, all very, very good. His pace really does let him down, though. 10 pace in the Premier League is going to leave you a little bit exposed. So again, that's a little bit of a worry. We don't have the paciest back line, so I may have to ask these players maybe to drop a little bit deeper this season in the Premier League, where the pace of some of these players could potentially just rip us to shreds. But nevertheless, I think Sebastian Gomez, a pretty good signing all told. 9.5 million spent. Most of that is over 48 months. So not actually that much came out of the transfer budget. Nevertheless, I do think I've overpaid for him a little bit. The last guy signed very, very recently, actually. He's a left-back the scouts recommended. They said he had a very, very good game in the Europa League for Hajduk Split. And so I decided to have a look at him. Lucas Surson is his name. He's 17. And he's all right, yeah. He's been stuck in the under-18s for now. Just because he's a bit raw. Not the best mentals, in all fairness. But in terms of his attacking capabilities at fullback, especially with his crossing and dribbling and pace, he could develop into a really, really good player. Really needs some pretty intense focus on his marking, though. I do prefer to play sort of defensive fullbacks rather than having them bomb down the wing, because I always feel like I'll get exposed too badly. Sort of with the attacking mentality I employ and the amount of players I usually stick in the final third, it's kind of difficult to incorporate complete wing backs in that, because you'll just concede too many goals. Nevertheless, if he can improve his defensive capabilities, I think he'll do a wonderful job. So that was quite lengthy, but those are all the transfers. I think I'm going to do a pretty good job in the season review of just going through the stuff that went on in the background, such as the training, the finances as well. If there's anything else you guys want to see, just let me know and I'll try and include that in the next couple of episodes. I do record on a backlog, so just be mindful of that. But yeah, without too much more to review, I'm going to go into the first game of the season against Everton. So none of the team have actually been selected yet, so we'll be selecting the team live and exclusive. And I'm going to be bold here. I'm going to go with our normal attacking tactic that we used in the Championship. I don't think Everton are anything like really special. So if we look at the season preview, I just want to do that pretty quickly, just to see what the media sort of reckons in terms of where we're likely to finish. When it loads, we are predicted to finish 14th. We're expected to survive relegation fairly comfortably, as are, well, Swansea predicted 17th. They're also expected to survive relegation, but I think 14th place, that media prediction sort of shows that we're not expected to go straight back down. We've got a squad that is capable of surviving in the Premier League, which is always reassuring. As you can see, Spurs, odds-on favourites to retain their title that they won last year. Man United, Chelsea, Man City are the chasing pack for them. They're going to be the ones hunting down Spurs. Us, meanwhile, will probably be chilling in the lower reaches of the table for this season. We haven't submitted the team yet, so let's get on with that. Korinek will be right back. I'm going to give Sebastian Gomez a start alongside Todd Alty. Really not a very pacey backline. I've changed my mind about Gomez because he looks a little bit dead. Carlos Marti has more condition, more match fitness. I think that would probably be the wise decision. I'm going to be pretty bold here and give 17-year-old Lucas Surson a start at left back. It's half being bold, half just giving him a start out of necessity because we don't really have that much cover at left back at the moment. The ball-winning midfielder, I'm going to go with Manga. I've just signed on a free. Deep line playmaker, Sadler, box to box will be Elliot Pack. The winger, Chris White, with Twitty. I'm going to try and remember to say Twitty at advanced forward. Ricky Baxter as the false 9. The bench, we'll go with Heron. I'm sorry about this, guys. I should have picked the team before recording. Not to worry. Heron, Hamilton, Sebastian Gomez, Antelek. Really should be starting, actually. And Donachi and Slavkov. Yeah, I am going to start Antelek, actually. He's probably the best midfielder we've got. So Antelek can be deep line playmaker, and I'm going to put Sadler in the ball-winning midfielder role. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to rest him. I'm going to bring Manga on for him. Anyway, we are going to get into the game. Finally, Lucas Serson has to be given a squad number. I'm going to give him the number 15, as it's the highest number that's actually available out of the list. So we begin our Premier League campaign here against Everton. We're just waiting for it to process because my laptop is terrible. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic here. I think Everton will probably be down there with us at the end of the season, just sort of staving off relegation in the final few games. So it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game. And I'm just going to get through this pre-match team talk. They're going with an extremely defensive formation, surprisingly enough, against us. That's a bit strange because we're newly promoted. So go out and give those fans their money's worth, boys. And we're going to kick off. Well, we're not. Everton are actually going to kick off. And it's Roller. And it's the end of the highlights. So we're just going to see how this game develops. I'm hoping we can take an early foothold in the game in terms of shots, chances created. We have got an insane amount of possession in the first 20 minutes. Over 70%. Antelek, good save there from Twitty. And now Pack can bring it back to Serson, the debutant, the 17-year-old. Chris White, the 17-year-old gets an assist. And Chris White scores our first goal back in the Premier League. And that is a fantastic start for us. We've been all over Everton. And that goal just typifies that. It's Pack. Serson finding himself so much space. He runs past the marauding Everton defender. Finds Chris White, who does not miss from there. It's 1-0 to Villa. Get in there. And I'm going to tell the guys now that they need to tighten up and maybe just see us through to half-time as I hit my touchpad and press the wrong team talk option there. Yeah, Lucas Serson, though, the 17-year-old, with 8 markings, somehow playing in the Premier League, getting an assist on his debut. The first 20 minutes of him coming on, he gets an assist. That says to me that he could be a fantastic player, as unfortunately Elliot Pack has picked up an injury. And I'm going to bring on Kareem Sadler to replace him, sort of the next best option that we have in midfield. So, like for like change, with no need to change the formation at all. We just need to get the injured player off the pitch. We've been doing fairly well as one of their players now picks up an injury. But I'd like to see us really create more chances, get more highlights. So you're capable of better, boys. Nobody really likes to hear that, but nonetheless, I believe we are capable of being better, and we probably could do with showing that in the second half. I know we're newly promoted and we shouldn't expect too much, but we really did win the league at a canter, and I think we won the championship with a Premier League standard squad. So really now, this is our proving ground. This is our level, and we need to show once again that we belong there. Antelek now to Twitty. He should be able to see the run of Baxter, but he doesn't. Antelek to Sadler. Baxter now, can he slot it in? He certainly can. It's 2-0. Ricky Baxter getting his first goal of the season, and we're looking comfortable now at Villa Park. We just need to not let this lead deteriorate. Ricky Baxter in all kinds of space. The marking really was suspect by Everton, And if it's going to be like that all season, then you really would worry for them in terms of them surviving. Everton's still yet to actually have a shot at goal in this game, which must really worry them. But it doesn't worry me one bit. Are they about to have their first shot here? Duran, wow, okay. They've scored from their first shot. I suppose that's a sort of welcome to the Premier League gesture there from Everton. Cheers, Everton. Our defending there really not the best. We struggled to get back from the counter-attack. And despite them only having one shot on goal, we only lead by that single goal margin. So can we create something here? Can we re-establish that 2-goal cushion? And Souza on the overlap whips in a ball. Chris White with a good effort at goal, but it was matched with a very good save. And now Twitty to Baxter. Sadler, let's kill the game here. We have the chance to kill the game. It's Twitty. Lag everywhere. It's Chris White. It's 3-1. And we've retaken the lead. Twitty with the initial shot. Parried by the keeper. Straight into the path of Chris White. And he now surely has put this game to bed. We have been totally dominant and we deserve to pick up 3 points here. So another viewing of the goal. Sadler to Antelek to Twitty. It was actually an extremely good save from Militic, but Chris White from an angle was unmarked and he slotted it home for 3-1. As Twitty now picks up an injury, that's a concern because Nichols is already injured. So we don't really want to be picking too many injuries at this point. I'd rather not have to play sort of the kids every single game. I think I'm going to have to keep the last substitute just in case somebody else picks up an injury, which seems inevitable, to be honest. But yeah, I'm delighted with how we've played so far. We're really looking like a strong team here. I know it's just Everton, and Slavkov makes it 4-1. What a oh, piss off, Lino. Stealing my thunder. Chris White. There's 4-1. You can't disallow that, Lino, you prick. Dejan Antelek on 68 minutes. It's 4-1. And I was just about to say, I'm delighted with how we've started our campaign in the Premier League. Although it is just Everton. You know, they're predicted to finish just one place below us in 15th. So they're hardly a world-beating Premier League team at this stage. But, you know, we've really made them look bang average. And to be honest, made ourselves look like a very, very good team. So that's exciting stuff for the future. Our next game, though, sees us play against Spurs. So I don't really think we'll get the same amount of luck. It'll be a good sort of proving ground for my new wing-back tactic that I showed you guys in the season review last episode. But apart from that, it's going to be a bit of a pounding. Nevertheless, we have given Everton just that, an absolute pounding in this game. We've beaten them by 4-1, and I think that leaves us third in the first table of the season. Indeed it does. Sandwiched between the likes of Chelsea and Man City, to show you that money doesn't buy you everything, at this stage of the season at least. So anyway, pointless showing you the table really because there's only been one game, but we have started our Premier League campaign with a really comfortable win. 4-1. That is fantastic. So I will see you guys for the next LiveCon. I'm not too sure yet when that will be, but I'll have a look at the fixtures and sort of work out a little LiveCon schedule to give myself more of an idea of who I will be LiveConning against. That is going to be it for this episode, guys. Take care, and I'll see you later.